gonna take crackerjack timing, Wang.
Total concentration. You ready, Jack?
I was born ready.
Marvel Comics has come a long ways the past year. Marvel wasn't producing even 5 comics I recommended just 12 months ago. Don't get me wrong, Marvel Comics is still action-packed with issues, but they've course-corrected a bit on some of their most important properties. In fact, only one series on my top 5 list, Venom, was around a year ago, and it had just released issue number 1. It was genuinely difficult getting to just 5 series, and I had to leave a few quality books off the list. Before we get started, let's talk about my Marvel Comics honorable mentions. Savage Sword of Conan, Uncanny X-Men, and Guardians of the Galaxy all barely missed a cut, but need mentioning. Savage Sword of Conan would be a top 3 book, but the miniseries led by Jerry Duggan and Ron Garney just concluded its run. The series features a set of Alex Ross covers that are simply amazing. If you're a fan of fantasy adventure, I highly suggest searching it out or picking it up in trades in a couple months. Uncanny X-Men is revitalized under the guidance of Matthew Rosenberg. Unfortunately, the recent announcement Marvel is rebooting their entire X-line means this great series is not long for this world. Donny Cates shot to stardom with his Thanos Wins story arc. He continues his hot streak with the Cosmic Marvel Universe with recently rebooted Guardians of the Galaxy. The series currently centers on the Mad Titans' return to the Marvel Universe. Not everything is puppy dogs and ice cream at the House of Ideas. The battle for Marvel's dishonorable mentions list is quite fierce. Marvel Comics remains an outright cesspool of trash books in their bottom tier. They currently don't have enough series that are just okay to have a clearly defined middle tier in regards to quality. Their books are good to great or outright terrible for the most part. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is a perfect example of what's wrong with far too many of their ongoing series. Writer Tom Taylor appears to have talent when writing for other publishers. When Marvel signs his checks, his books are woke garbage. He's found his way from Wolverine and Deadpool all the way up to the X-Men and now Spider-Man. Friendly Neighborhood features some of the worst Tumblr art available from Marvel, and that's saying something. Marry that with Taylor's propensity to write Peter Parker as a complete loser nobody respects, and you have a bottom-of-the-barrel book nobody should read. Ever. Age of X-Men appears to be the least planned out Marvel event in some times. A vast majority of the creative teams are D-level talent, and it doesn't feature a single good artist. I'm 100% certain CB and Jordan White pulled this event directly out of their asses to buy time and build customers while they waited for Hickman to arrive and reboot X-Men. The only good news is it removed the deadweight of so many awful characters, and Uncanny X-Men is actually fun again. War of the Realms is an event 5 years in the making. Problem is, it was supposed to be contained in Thor. Marvel needed concurrent consumer scams, so they expanded it to a line-wide event. War of the Realms itself is substandard, but the tie-in issues and associated miniseries are what make it truly awful. I'm currently on break from Venom, while Cullen Bunn bores Venom readers to death with unnecessary War of the Realms tie-ins. I was cooling on Avengers for a while. 6 pages into the War of the Realms tie-in, I dropped the series entirely. Don't even get me started on New Ages of Atlas. The Asian hero team-up contains a plethora of racial stereotypes and abysmal writing. These are the types of missteps that should have CB and his leadership team looking over their shoulders. Enough with the riffraff. Let's get into the good stuff, starting with number 5, the best-selling ongoing series at Marvel, The Amazing Spider-Man. When Marvel relaunched Amazing Spider-Man, following issue 800 under Nick Spencer, I was less than enthused. I was hoping Chip Zdarsky would get a run on the flagship series after his terrific Spectacular Spider-Man. It took me a while to warm up to the idea of reading a book by Spencer after his behavior. I'm glad I came around because Amazing Spider-Man is a great read. Spencer treats Peter Parker like a competent adult hero, a real issue these days. See also Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man and War of the Realms. The biggest drawback of this series is the rotating artists, specifically Chris Bachalo. His art sticks out like a sore thumb in comparison with Ryan Otley and Humberto Ramos. It doesn't fit the character and is far too different stylistically from the rest of the team. Nick Spencer's entire Amazing Spider-Man series led to the current Hunted story arc, featuring the return of Kraven the Hunter. The story is filled with classic villains like Taskmaster, Rhino, Black Ant, Lizard, Vulture, and my personal favorite, Arcade. It's a fun, action-packed series most fans of the character will absolutely love. I can understand readers who aren't ready to forgive Nick Spencer for his abhorrent behavior, but they're missing out on one hell of a Spidey book. The rest of the series on my list have one primary artist and are much better for it. Ryan Stegman leads the art team on my number 4 book, Venom. Stegman's amazing gothic-style visuals fit the tone of Marvel Golden Boy Donny Cates' Venom. The McFarlane-inspired visuals are among the best in the industry and truly terrifying. Stegman fills his pages with amazing background and character details that are deeply engaging. Colorist Frank Martin layers the art perfectly, and Stegman's Venom pops out on the page. Together with Donny Cates, the team is changing Venom as we know him. They have added so many layers to the character in the past year. They've woven symbiote god Null into the character lore perfectly, while also hinting at a relationship between Null and Carnage. Cates changed the nature of Eddie Brock and symbiote Venom's relationship. Venom changed Eddie's memories to make him codependent on him, leading to the revelation that many of his past tragedies were untrue, and he has a son being raised by Eddie's abusive father. Eddie was separated from Venom, and the symbiote is currently damaged. All this is moving the series to August's Absolute Carnage event led by Cates. Spider-Man is easily the most popular character in Marvel Comics. Chip Zdarsky leads the highest rated miniseries on the list at number 3, Spider-Man Life Story. Chip Zdarsky didn't get the Amazing Spider-Man gig as I hoped, but Marvel did give him his own Spidey miniseries. Spider-Man Life Story is an extremely ambitious idea. Peter Parker ages in real time through the decades. Zdarsky and artist Mark Bagley are executing it to perfection. Bagley is synonymous with Spidey, and the artwork on the series is spectacular. Seeing Peter age from teen to middle-aged hero on his second marriage in 3 books is surprisingly effective. Spider-Man has such a rich, wide-ranging history, it seems an impossible task to tell a decade's worth of story 30 pages at a time. Zdarsky has proven more than up to the task. So far, he's intertwined Peter's conflicts with the Osborns, Clone Saga, Secret Wars, and Kraven's Last Hunt. Zdarsky changes the series' history a bit when necessary, while maintaining a coherent story. The changes are a good change of pace for loyal readers, but true enough for new readers to learn Peter's story. The only drawback are the covers. They fit the theme of the book, but they're rather lackluster. Life Story will probably read even better in trades. I believe Spider-Man Life Story will replace Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale's Spider-Man Blue as the perfect character introduction for new readers. Chip Zdarsky is the hottest writer in the entire comic book industry. It's no surprise he has 2 entries in the top 3 Marvel series. At number 2 is his fantastic Daredevil series. When Marvel announced Zdarsky and artist Marco Checchetto were leading a new Daredevil series, I was beyond excited. So far, the series has lived up to expectations and then some. Checchetto's dark and gritty art style not only match Daredevil, they elevate the character and setting. He's changed the costume to include MMA-style hand wraps that emphasize Matt Murdock as a street-level hero. Checchetto uses symbolism and changes artistic tone to enhance Zdarsky's fantastic narrative. Chip Zdarsky's run picks up with Matt Murdock recovering after a near-death experience. He's lost a step and struggling to cope with his newly discovered limitations. Daredevil is always trying to reconcile his faith and his actions as a crime fighter. Most great Daredevil stories need to test his faith and bring him to an all-time low before he perseveres, coming out stronger with renewed vigor. Zdarsky is doing just that with his first story arc, and there are hints of addiction in Matt Murdock's future. The only thing keeping this series from the number 1 spot is it's still on its first story arc. If Daredevil continues with the same level of quality much longer, it will be the best comic book in the industry. Period. Marvel's #1 book is probably the best series in all of comics. Al Ewing and Joe Bennett teamed to revitalize a long-suffering character in my #1 Marvel series, Immortal Hulk. Immortal Hulk is the finest horror comic in the industry, bar none. Veteran horror artist Joe Bennett creates shocking, bone-chilling comic book excellence every issue. His visual stylings are extremely intense and filled with amazing detail work, especially facial expressions. Bennett uses several tricks, such as orienting panel angles and reader perspective, to ratchet up tensions. Grotesque, extremely frightening splash pages of Hulk are a signature of the series. The artwork by Joe Bennett and his team is absolutely first rate. Al Ewing has been in the industry for years, but never had a story arc, let alone series to get fans really excited. That all changed when given the keys to the Hulk character. Ewing's rejuvenated a fan base long ignored by Marvel brass. He and Joe Bennett have redefined the Hulk character and further fleshed out its mythos. This all culminated in Immortal Hulk #8, the best comic issue since Zdarsky's Spectacular Spider-Man 310. Hulk has been to hell and back. Bruce Banner has multiple personalities the team are introducing to series readers. The series began with interest, but the quality is elevated to the second best-selling Marvel comic series. Prices for first-print Immortal Hulks are skyrocketing due to reader interest. If you aren't reading this new series, you're missing out on one of the two best comics in the industry. Immortal Hulk earned its #1 spot through sustained excellence. There you have it, my Marvel Comics top 5 list. The publisher is extremely hot in the top 3. In my estimation, DC Comics only has one series that belongs in the conversation with Spider-Man Life Story, Daredevil, or Immortal Hulk. Marvel's top 5 is loaded with amazing artists Ryan Ottley, Ryan Stegman, Mark Bagley, Marco Cicchetto, and Joe Bennett. The stories described by some of the hottest writers in the industry, Donny Cates, Chip Zdarsky, and Al Ewing. What do you think of my top 5 list? Did I get it all wrong? Do you have a different book at #1? Did I miss the mark with my dishonorable mentions? Do you have a sleeper Marvel book I need to know about? Please let me know your thoughts and your personal Marvel Comics top 5 in the comments section. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. I would appreciate it very much. It helps us attract more views for the channel. Subscribe for future commentary, comic book news, and reviews. And don't forget to ring the bell for notifications. If you want to talk comics, movies, and much, much more, you can follow me on Twitter at Wes_from_TC. With that, Salamat Po, and I'm out.